How are yous? It's Hanne here and welcome back to another video. I'm finally back for another question and answer because I have had so many questions coming in. So without further ado, let me just unwrap a quick parcel, grab myself a snack and a hot cuppa and get back to those questions. Be sure to do the same. It has been a hot second since I took a break because I impulsively signed up to a really interesting mental health continued professional development course, fully funded, not realizing how it was gonna suck the life out of me, as you can see from my vacant eyes. Anyway, after however many hours of staring at my screen, I decided I'd have a tiny little break. Nothing more relaxing than spending time with you. Lovely bit of tea. If you know me, with this snowy weather out there, I love me a good cup of tea or a good coffee or a hot chocolate. Any hot drink will do. So I'll be trying that out in a sec. Plant-based porridge, which has got oats, protein powders, cinnamon, flax, a whole bunch of other stuff. So basically a fortified porridge, which I think is great. I do also really like the packaging, except for the fact that it has a massive calorie label right there. Change that. It's cinnamon and super seed flavour. Next, a little nighttime tea and some sleep tablets. They clearly know what I need right now. That's it. There's also some plastic scoops in here. Don't know why. Don't need it. Don't want it. But yeah, I'm quite excited to try out the porridge, give the teas a try, actually sleep better for a change. And I do also have a discount. So if you want to check out any of their products, definitely check out the discount code below. Anyway, considering that the only food that came in this box, unfortunately because their snacks and everything else on the website looks so damn good, is porridge, and I've had porridge for breakfast today, I'll be making myself one of the teas and sitting down to answer some more of your questions. Right, I am so ready. I have got myself 2 crackers. One is a lime and salsa pea one and one is a beetroot one with sabra, roast garlic and pepper hummus. Next, I've got myself a nighttime tea because I don't really do caffeine or green teas in the afternoon, and this will hopefully relax me. Let me know in the comments what you're snacking on, what you are drinking, and let's get to the first question. Question number 1. How did you stop weighing yourself, and how did you stop being so focused on your weight and the numbers on the scale? Even imagining not weighing myself, not counting calories, not engaging in these behaviors makes me feel very stressed and scared, especially that I will gain weight too quickly. First off, ask yourself what exactly you're scared of. You say that you're scared of gaining weight too quickly or gaining too much weight. Why is that scary? What makes it scary? Why is that something that's on your mind? Ask yourself what the actual threat of this is. What is the worst case scenario? And why is it not actually as bad as you may think it is? Through some CBT techniques that I tend to use with my coaching clients, I love to challenge some of the thoughts. I love to look at them in a different light. So for example, you could ask yourself, if a friend was having this worry, what would you tell them? You may also ask yourself what the evidence is for and against the beliefs you're holding, and what a more viable alternative belief could be. Rationally, this should then allow you to realize that weighing yourself so much and that gaining weight very gradually or in a certain way is not necessary for recovery. In fact, the faster you gain weight, and if you overshoot, the faster you will get back to a healthy body and a healthy life. And that should be the goal. So that, in my mind, should be the second step. Write down your goals. Know what you're fighting for. if you're always just go in without actually knowing where you're headed, chances are you're going to get lost along the way. Once you've identified your goals, define the steps you need to take to get there. So stopping weighing yourself, stopping calorie counting, stopping comparing yourself to others. They're all really important parts of that equation. And I tackle all of these different ones in specific videos that are up on my channel. So I'll link them below. Definitely check them out for specific tips on each of these. I hope that helps, but if anyone has any other specific tips, definitely do share them below as well. Know that with challenging any behaviour, it's going to be really scary at first, but that anxiety will reduce over time with repeated exposure. Also know that if you are gaining a lot of weight initially, this is not likely something that will continue at the same rate. I know that initially in my recovery, my weight shot up, and yes, I could have freaked out. I could have taken a few steps back and I could have repeated the whole process over again, but I didn't. I decided to trust the process, and it's by doing that, by keeping going, by keeping up the consistent, regular, sufficient meals, that the weight gain started to slow down as my metabolism increased. So if you're worried about being that special snowflake because your weight shot up and it's going to keep going at that pace, I promise you, you're not. Next question. Whenever I gain weight, the goal of recovery, or one of the goals of recovery, I start to struggle more and more with eating a lot. I'm struggling with this now. Do you have any tips? Yes, I do. First tip, if you are struggling with reaching your minimums, follow a meal plan for now. If this allows you to keep gaining the weight, to make recovery-aligned decisions, to do what you have to do at this instant, a meal plan can be a really good solution. Also, remind yourself of your goals and the fact that weight gain is a goal. It doesn't make sense to take a few steps forward, to gain a bit of weight, to then lose it again, putting you back in that starting position. Understand that weight gain is really important for your mental health, your physical health, in so many ways. So when you are feeling uncomfortable, keep going. Try to get into a healthy habit with your food, with regular, sufficient meals, and just keep that up. If there's a particular meal or snack that you particularly struggle with, then let someone know. A housemate, a family member, a friend. If there's someone there who can help hold you accountable, that can definitely also be a great relief and a great way to keep making recovery-aligned decisions. I also received several questions on weight redistribution. Why it happens, how long it lasts, when it finally bloody goes away. And it's actually a topic I haven't really discussed all that much on this channel, just because it is such an individual thing. For me, personally, weight redistribution took, I want to say at least a year, maybe longer. And that is because it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on your weight, on your rate of weight gain, on your hormones, and probably a whole range more. For me, for the longest time, my hormones weren't regulated. And it's only once they did fully regulate themselves, once I got my period, that some of that weight over here started going over here. Obviously, by that point, some of my weight had redistributed. Initially, as I gained weight, it literally all went to my stomach. Obviously, to protect the vital organs here, it does happen for a reason. But it is by keeping up with the weight gain, by keeping up with the sufficient regular meals, that I allowed my body to do its thing. I think a lot of people at this stage freak out about gaining all the weight in all the wrong places. First off, it's not the wrong place, but as a result of this freak out, they tend to go back to restriction or they start exercising a lot, and that can quite easily lead you down a very negative spiral, potentially more weight loss or hormone dysregulation, or just a lot of additional stress on your body that's not gonna really foster an environment where it will want to trust you. So keep taking rest, keep eating, keep gaining any necessary weight, and just trust the process. The weight will redistribute, but what this looks like exactly and how long this will take is an individual thing. The next question is about doing recovery on a vegan diet and meeting specific calorie requirements. I won't mention specific numbers, but yeah, I mean, most of us know that meal plans and weight gain does require meeting certain minimums, which may be different for different people. What are my tips to gain weight on a vegan diet? One of my tips, which I repeat as a response to any question, is to eat regular and sufficient meals. Eating every 2 or 3 hours, in spite of hunger cues, can help you re-regulate hunger cues and make sure that you're getting enough calories in without feeling overly full, which is a lot more common, I think, if you're just eating 3 big meals. However, this is a ballpark suggestion, and depending on your lifestyle, your preferences, etc., you may find it more beneficial to eat 3 big meals and not graze as much during the day. Fine. What worked for me was regular, sufficient meals. This also kept my energy up. What exactly do I mean with sufficient meals? I mean meals that aren't just a whole damn bunch of vegetables, because yes, vegetables are vegan, but so are cookies, so is hummus, so are nuts. There's lots of vegan cheeses and mock meats out there as well. Incorporate them too. And if you've got the chance, opt for the higher calorie options of different foods rather than rice cakes. Here I've got these, let's go here. That's definitely mine. Rather than rice cakes, here I've got legume and bean cakes, which do pack a nicer calorie punch than regular old rice cakes. Instead of your regular old or reduced fat hummus, I've got Sabra hummus. And I mean, if you haven't tried it, it's definitely one to try. It's really good, really creamy, but also packs on a really good punch because it does have a fair amount of olive oil. Which brings me to the next point. Fats, margarine, olive oil, etc. That's all vegan too. They're easy calories, so incorporate them. Personally, I love cooking with oil. I love making sauces where I incorporate margarine. I like adding vegan cheeses. I add lots of nuts and nut butter to my dishes. And that's how you can quite easily up the calorie content of your meals without feeling unnecessarily full. I also got 2 really short questions right here. First one being, what is my favourite childhood meal? Right, I was that weird child. As a child, I loved potato and spinach mash. Basically, it's one massive blob of green on a plate, and that was my favourite meal. I also really loved French toast. Next question, what is my favourite vegan baking recipe? You'd think that these shorter questions would be easier to answer, but actually, I can't answer this one. My very, very favourite vegan baking recipe is part of my recipe ebook meal support guide. So if you want to know, you gotta check that out. I'll leave the link below. The last question I'll answer for today is, what do I do for a living? At the moment, absolutely nothing. Just kidding. My hours at the moment are absolutely wild. I'm working from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed. And it is a bit much. So if you want to support me in my efforts, be my guest, find me on Patreon, give me a little donation, anything, absolutely anything. But yeah, at the moment, I'm actually making a living off of the thing I am most passionate about. Helping people in their eating disorder recovery. So through this YouTube channel, but particularly through one-to-one coaching, where I can provide some individualized attention and consider, well, all the individual factors that make everyone's journeys unique. I also have an eating disorder recovery program available on my website, and that's my business at the moment. And I'm super excited that you are joining me on this journey. Anyway, that's it for today's questions. Thank you so much for having a snack and a tea break with me. I love you guys loads. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered yet, leave them below. I'll see you next week for another video.